If you've been thinking to yourself recently, wow, I really need some new music to listen to, something new to add to my playlist, then welcome. You have come to the right place. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Pretty in Punk, the punk rock podcast. My name is Fiona. I am your host and girly girl guide to the world of punk, rock, and everything in between. Today, I want to shine some light on three smaller bands I have totally been loving lately. Now, just some food for thought. When I say smaller, I don't necessarily mean brand new or even completely unknown. To me, I'm talking about the bands that aren't on every single playlist, aren't signed to a huge label. They haven't completely blown up yet while putting out music that you all need to hear. So on this list, I've chosen three, as I said, and we've got everything from some raw, gritty punk to psychedelic jazz vibes. And yes, I know it's not punk for my tried and true punk fans watching this. I love more than punk. It's just my main focus, but I think you're going to love all three picks on this list. So look, whether you are looking for a band that is totally going to rip your face off when you see them live or something that you can just sit back and listen to, you are about to meet some new favorite bands. And for these three bands, as always, I have a song of the week playlist where each of these bands, I will be adding one song, one pick from each of them to my song of the week playlist. You can find it linked below in the description, and you will be able to check out my favorite song from each of these bands. So let's get into it. We are kicking it off with a band that I have had the pleasure of seeing live, and that's why I want to talk about them first, and that is none other than Upchuck. They are an absolutely electric band from Atlanta, Georgia, and seriously one of the most exciting acts I have found recently, and one that their performance has really stuck with me ever since I saw them live. I've just been thinking about how incredible they were live and how commanding they were on stage. I want to give you guys a little background. Here's the deal with Upchuck, okay? They formed back in 2018. The band kind of came together when guitarist Michael Durham had been spending nearly a year trying to piece together this band perfectly.
And how did you guys get together?
I started the band in like 2018, and then I met our drummer Chris. We worked together, and then I've known our bass player since like fourth grade. And then we met KT through another friend, and it just all came together in like a year. Yeah.
That's an interesting group of guys that you got together.
I know.
Musically, Upchuck has the kind of sound that I am always so drawn to. It's just this raw, lo-fi punk aesthetic. And that kind of sound always grabs me. And you have a little bit of everything. I think they take a lot of inspiration from so many different genres. I mean, think hardcore punk with shades of garage rock, post-punk, and even a little bit of like some fuzzy grunge in there. Even though they have that total punk edge, they have some really catchy songs too, songs that just really get stuck in your head. Their one track, Crashing, has been a favorite of mine recently. So catchy. The chorus is incredible. It'll be stuck in your head after listening to it. I absolutely love the riff in it, but even though it is so catchy, it's still totally rough around the edges in all the right ways. But I mean, they have it all, because then you have tracks like Freedom that just hit you in the face right away. And then they do have a newest single, Plastic, which I've really been loving recently. I mean, that like deep fuzzy riff, obsessed with that riff. It's so good. Also, I'm popping in here after editing because literally like 3 days after I recorded this episode, they announced that their new album, I'm Nice Now, will be out October 3rd. And alongside that, they just released 2 new singles. So literally perfect timing, like right as I am editing this, they dropped this announcement. So go pre-save the album if you can. If you use Spotify, I don't know about Apple Music, but I know on Spotify you can pre-save. Go do that and go stream their 2 new singles. Loving them already. Seriously, go and do it. Like, pause this video and go check it out right now. And while I think KT is really the driving force of this band and is just the most like incredible front presence to this band, I do love that there's also some other vocals going on in there, because on a few songs the drummer Chris actually takes the lead vocals too, and I think that's such a cool twist, because when I saw them live it totally like throws you for a loop and it kind of gives a way for the set to switch up a little bit, and I really loved that element. And speaking of live, okay, I saw them open for Teen Mortgage in Philly. At this point, I didn't know much about them going into it. I definitely left a fan. First of all, as I said, KT's stage presence, unreal, just so relentless and commanding and powerful. Like, I couldn't look away. I loved the emotion. Some of the most commanding stage presence I have seen on stage is from this band. But overall, like, one of the best live bands I have seen this year. Killer stage presence and energy, just relentless, in your face. As I said, powerful. I really hope I get to see them again, and I hope that anyone watching this gets to see them live, because seriously, you are just in for like the most raw punk energy ever. So right now, they do have 2 albums out, and I urge you to listen to both of them. We have Sense Yourself from 2022 and Bite the Hand That Feeds from 2023. Clearly, I'm really loving this band right now, and I want to read another little tidbit that's on their Spotify, because I think this kind of sums it up perfectly as well. So as their Spotify puts it, only the wise and relentless will thrive in a revolutionized world, and Upchuck is sternly handling the fuel to a new generation. Sums it up perfectly. They're not here to be background music. They're here to light a fire and to be heard. If you want to check out Upchuck, definitely just listen to their whole discography, of course, but if you just want to check out one song, I highly recommend their song Freedom, and that will be on my Song of the Week playlist. So we just talked about Upchuck from Atlanta, Georgia, but let's completely switch it up and let's take a journey all the way to Australia. Quite the switch up, but I am so hyped to talk about this band C.O.F.F.I.N, which is stylized in all capitals with periods in between each letter, and it stands for Children of Finland Fighting in Norway. They're from Sydney, Australia, though, and as always, here is a little bit of background on C.O.F.F.I.N. They actually started playing way back in 2005 when the members were still in school, like literally 12 years old, playing their first show opening for the Hard-Ons at the Manly Youth Center. But since then, they've continued to grow and carve out their very own space in the world of Australian punk, which, if you've seen my episode on Australian punk, I love so many Aussie punk bands. Like, truly, I think right now in the game, no one is doing it like Australia. I think they are really like leaders of the pack right now, just my opinion. But there are so many incredible bands from Australia, and this is one of them. I think one of my favorite parts is that their vocalist is also the drummer. Taking it back to Upchuck, pretty interesting too that the drummer of that band also comes in and sings on some of those songs, but in C.O.F.F.I.N, Ben Portnoy is actually the full-on lead singer of the band while also the drummer. He absolutely shreds it behind the kit while just screaming his lungs out. I'm going to insert a clip here of Anthony Fantano describing this man's voice.
Plus a vocalist who sounds like he gargles broken glass and spiky ball bearings for breakfast every morning.
The way that he described him absolutely killed me. So I watched their Freak Valley Festival set on YouTube, and I was not there. I was watching it through my very tiny MacBook Air, but even through a screen, wow, can you feel their energy live? So musically, they've got this blend of old school punk, hardcore punk, even some street punk kind of vibes in there, but it's all done with that signature Aussie punk edge that I absolutely adore. I mean, if you are into other Aussie punk bands and you haven't checked them out, you really, really need to. I mean, think the Chats, Cosmic Psychos, but with even more grit and just vocal intensity. I think the vocals are really what makes it stand out. I personally love that Ben's vocals are just super harsh and like how this kind of growl to them. And then songs like Fast Love just get stuck in my head for days.
Try when you wanna, try when you need something from it. Fast love, honey. Try when you wanna, and you try on me.
Even though it is a gritty song, it has a hook that just really gets stuck in your head. And that was the first song I heard of them. And immediately when I heard that, I was like, I need to know what else they have in store. And then on tracks like Plans for You, the guitar work is honestly incredible.
I brought you right on the fucking guitar.
C.O.F.F.I.N sound is just rough around the edges in the best ways possible. Fast, heavy, punchy, all my favorite words. Plus, there's this deep, thick Aussie accent, which I think totally adds to the charm. And I think that's why I love a lot of Australian bands. I don't know why. I think that accent just really, I love hearing it in punk music. I think it just totally fits in there. It's very, very in your face, but also the solid musicianship underneath all of the grit. You can tell that, yes, they have definitely been doing this for a long time and they are so seasoned at what they do. And that being said, they've released a ton of music. My personal favorite is their 2020 release, Children of Finland Fighting in Norway. I think that is just a perfect snapshot of who they are as a band, and I definitely recommend starting there. So on my Song of the Week playlist, definitely go check out Fast Love. Go blast that song. Trust me, that chorus will be living in your head all week. Now, the last two bands back to back were some pretty gritty punk bands, but I have something that is completely different for the last band that I want to touch on today, Moon Owls Mages. Okay, listen. Moon Owls Mages is not a punk band, but stay with me because if you're like me and your playlists are a total blend of genres, you're gonna want to hear me out with this band, okay? This is a 4-piece psych rock band from Idaho with only about 10K monthly listeners on Spotify, which is insane, but I am obsessed. I've been listening to this band quite a lot in the past year. If you were into bands like King Gizzard or Frankie and the Witch Fingers, kind of that vibe, I definitely think you are going to want to check out this band. Anything that's maybe a little experimental, a little trippy, psychedelic, this one is for you. Their sound is definitely a blend of genres. Yes, it's psych rock, but honestly, I think that their music goes way beyond that, especially with their most recent release entitled Step on It. Totally goes beyond that vibe, and I am so here for it. I think their earlier stuff has a lot of King Gizzard comparisons, fuzzy, jammy, psychedelic, but with each release, they kind of bring something a little bit different, which I really enjoy. Because of that, they've been carving out a sound that is totally their own, and it leaves me so excited for what's to come next. And as I said, you can definitely hear this evolution in their newest release, Step on It, which just dropped this past March. It's funky, it's a little bit jazzy, and it's definitely unexpected, but again, I am here for it. This is a band that kind of thrives on creative pressure. So I was reading a bit about this band and I found out that they literally wrote and recorded and released their debut LP, Skelly Bones and the Flaming Crown, which is a whole concept album. Just check it out. But In 2 weeks, they did all of that, which is insane. Like, it's wild. Instead of burning out, they just kept pushing. And I think that totally shows their commitment to the craft. And then their 2022 album called Kill the Crackle, it definitely showed, I love these names, it definitely showed a way more dialed in and refined version of the band. But now with the release of Step on It, I think that they are operating at a whole new level. I've been really enjoying this release. What I love about it is how much confidence and maturity you can hear in it. The production is really, really great. The songwriting is a lot sharper and it's definitely very adventurous. And it's completely genre bending too, which I love. They're not afraid to experiment and branch out. Standout track for me, it's entitled Prehistoric Nature, and especially to me, the vocals are on point with this one. Just going from their earlier releases to this, you really hear the evolution. I'm obsessed with this track right now. Truly, I think their growth in a short amount of time, only 5 years, is unreal. I foresee this band to continue to grow. I mean, they also bring like horns and a saxophone into the mix. I think it just completely levels up the sound, and it definitely reminds me of a lot of the music that King Gizzard has been putting out recently. So if you've been enjoying their latest 2 albums, I think you will enjoy this one too. And no, I have not seen them live yet. Trust me, they're on the list, but I've heard nothing but amazing things about them live. So I know that they're out of my punk lane, and if you are the kind of person that is here for all punk music, just know I'm your girly girl guide to the world of punk, rock, and everything in between. So I'm not afraid to branch out. Punk is just my main focus, and I'm throwing them into this episode because even though they're not punk, they have that DIY spirit that is just so, to me, that is like punk ethos, and they are just total like boundary pushing creatives, and I love that. I think that they have it, and it makes me want to tell everyone about them because I can see this band going the distance. I can see them going so far. I can see them booking some incredible festival spots and touring with incredible bands. So I'm excited to see where this band goes, and you better check them out now so you can say that you knew them when. And my song of the week is off of their newest release, Step on It. It's called Prehistoric Nature. Trust me, it's a trip, and it is so wildly different than all the other songs that I have on my Song of the Week playlist, but I think it's like a little bit of something different, a little sprinkle in there. All right, so there you have it. That is a wrap on today's episode. If you are already a fan of any of these bands that I have talked about, please let me know. I would love to know your thoughts on them as well. And if you haven't heard of these bands before, go and stream them, buy one of their records, see them live, grab some merch, seriously support the hell out of them because these are 3 bands that I love and I cannot wait to see their continued growth. And I do want to always hear from you. I want to know, what are some bands that you personally think are under the radar, are deserving of more love? Let me know. Let me know some of your favorite smaller bands right now that you cannot get enough of and you wish had some more recognition. I want to know. So let me know in a comment. But with all of that being said, of course, be sure to check out the Song of the Week playlist so you can hear a couple of my favorite picks, but also just stream these bands, check them out, listen to them. Oh my god, my camera's gonna die. So I'm gonna wrap this up really quick. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Pretty and Punk Pod. And be sure to subscribe on YouTube. You can also find me on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, the works, whatever platform you use, I am on it. But you can catch new episodes about punk, rock, and everything in between every single week. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time in the next episode.